Is bigger always better? In today's video, we're talking about whether you should join a big four firm, a mid-tier firm, or a small boutique firm in accounting. So really, the purpose of this video is to give you an idea of my experiences to help you make your decision as to what route you might want to take. So I'm going to share a bit of my experiences in each of these firms and reveal to you which firm I decided on going ahead with. You never know until you try. So the first important step is to go out there and get yourself a vacationer position in the firms that you might be interested in working. This means submitting an application, getting good grades, and getting great references to land yourself a vacationer or potentially a graduate job in the firm that you're looking for. For my own journey, I applied to a large, a mid-tier, and a small boutique firm as a vacationer to gain the experience and to work out what size firm would best suit me and my situation. So let's start with the large Big Four firm, which I managed to get a vacationer position in the deals division. Now, deals sounds very sexy and, very sophisticated, but in actual fact, I was working more in the restructuring and the transaction areas rather than in the mergers and acquisitions section of the Big Four firm. It was a great experience, and I spent about a month with the team there, learning the ropes, getting an understanding of what they did on a day-to-day basis and how the firm operated. Now, things might have changed over the last few years, but when I joined this Big Four firm as a vacationer, we sat in cubicles. It was very dark and boxy. Each of the partners had their own private room, so their own office space, and they were looking back directly at the team. The team was kind of structured where I felt that the most senior members left work first, and then the middle management, and then finally the junior staff left work for the day once the more senior members had finished. There was a big expectation to work long hours, even as a vacationer, and so I can understand that there is demand for people to work long hours to, one, gain an understanding of what you're doing in your job, and two, to get greater output for the firm. The next firm that I went to was a mid-tier firm. This was a little bit different to the feel of the large firm. It still had a fairly large team, and I gained experience in the audit division there. This meant understanding and working through financial statements, and the partners didn't have their own office space, which I thought was a good thing, to be honest. Partners were part of the team, sitting on the floor, and it was very open plan office space. Now, you shouldn't pick a firm because of the office space. You should more pick it for the cultural fit and whether the job actually suits you. But I had a great experience at this mid-tier firm, and it suited me, and I got along well with the team. Now, the third firm that I had vacationing experience at was a small firm. This was less than 10 staff in the team. It had one partner in the audit division, and I also spent around a month there learning the ropes and understanding how the team worked. Now, unfortunately, this team was still operating on a paper audit file. This was 6 or 7 or maybe even 8 years ago now. And it was an interesting experience to gain insight into why they were doing that. And because it suited the partner, the team had to work on the same basis. So that meant printing everything out, filing it, punching holes in it, and storing it in the right location so that it could be reviewed and ticked off essentially. So as you may have guessed, I ended up going for the mid-tier firm because I thought it was the best cultural fit. And I also thought that I was going to learn as much as I possibly could and gain experience to a range of clients. Now, this was the best decision for me, but let me break down some more aspects around small, mid-tier, and large firms that you might want to consider. Now, audit and tax are the main areas that most graduates get a role in. When I was going through university studying finance and accounting, I kind of thought that, I was going to get a job in corporate finance because it seems like the hot space to be in and the role that everyone wants to land when they're in university. In actual fact, most firms and most businesses don't really offer many roles in that corporate finance space or merger and acquisition space for graduates. You need to work your way up to a more senior accountant level after having at least 2 or 3 years experience to get a role in these high demanding and, more business driven and business centric roles. So that is the first thing. If you're at university and you're studying accounting and finance, when the big firms are offering jobs, 85 or 90% of the roles are in accounting, tax, and business advisory, which is essentially tax for individuals and small business owners. Not many roles sit in that corporate finance space, so be aware that you might have to end up in a different area than you were expecting if you're looking to be in a corporate finance role. Now, don't be disincentivized and don't apply for those roles if they're out there and available, but just be aware that the bulk of the market for accountants is in that audit and tax space. The next thing to consider is your exposure. So what exposure are you going to get at a big four firm, a mid-tier firm, and a small firm to clients that might be in industries that you want to work in, or how much knowledge you're actually going to get of financial statements or tax working as a whole. Now, if you get a job at a big firm, they largely have the biggest clients. So, BHP, big banks like the Commonwealth Bank of Australia always go with a big four firm because they have great resources, huge amount of staff, and they can put lots of people on those jobs and get through the work in an efficient and effective manner and sign off those audits and tax compliance as required. So if you're going to go for a big four firm, you're going to get big clients, but that might mean you're not doing everything for that client. You might not see the end-to-end process of an audit, for example. So just be wary of that if you're wanting a more broad approach or broad knowledge base. But if you're looking to go a more specialized route and you want to work with massive clients, then the big four firms are probably going to be the pick for you. Looking at the middle and then the boutique size businesses, the middle firms do have some large clients. So I work with listed companies when I was in the audit division at my mid-tier firm, and we work with some medium-sized businesses who are doing, $100 million, $50 million, $25 million worth of turnover, and other businesses that, yes, didn't have as much turnover and didn't require auditors, but this was rarely the case. In that mid-tier firm, most of our clients were over the thresholds and required an audit, and therefore we were working in that medium-sized business space. That meant that I was able to understand the end-to-end process from the complete initial engagement all the way to the close of the job and really see these businesses from inside out. I saw businesses that were in manufacturing, businesses that were in, food and hospitality, and other businesses that were in property, which was my area of passion. So to gain insight into these different industries and to understand businesses end-to-end more suited my personal goals. Now, the small firms are going to be more dealing with everyday people and small businesses. So if that's an area that you're passionate about and you want to work with small businesses or do individual tax returns and help people individually, then the small firms are going to be more suited to that. Final and most important ingredient in finding an accounting firm that suits you and works for both parties is culture. It's important to make sure that you're a good cultural fit for that firm and that firm is a great cultural fit for you. When you're finishing your accounting degree and you're looking to become a chartered accountant, then it's important to pick a firm that is going to work with your long-term goals and short-term goals, and that you can potentially see yourself working with that team from a long period of time. Things such as flexibility of work hours and location, potential bonuses, and the actual structure of team and events all come together to make a holistic business and a holistic culture in the firm that you decide to work for. So I had experiences at the small, medium, and large firms and decided to go for a mid-tier firm because culturally, I thought it was the best fit for me. There was a little more flexibility going for the mid-tier firm in terms of working hours, and the culture definitely resonated more with me in terms of the people that I met and had discussions with, and the social events that the mid-tier firm had were great in terms of connecting with people across the business and building a real culture and, camaraderie amongst workmates. Now, you might find the right culture for you at any of the firms, small, mid-tier, or large. It's important to go out there and get experience, to chat with people, to spend time in the team for a vacational role, or even as a graduate, to ensure that you've picked the right place for you to work and to grow your career and get a more holistic understanding of accounting and tax depending on what you're wanting to learn. That breaks down my large, mid-tier, and small firms for accounting and the options that are available to you. If you're interested in becoming a chartered accountant and are unsure whether it's a waste of time or whether it's worth it, click on the video over here and it will send you to that. See you in the next video.